Hello and welcome to Power Hour. Today's topic is Power Apps Canvas app gallery column filtering. So we'll talk about how to create drop downs at the tops of columns in your Power Apps gallery and let end users quickly be able to filter the items in that gallery. And we'll talk about different types of columns and different ways to achieve this. So welcome to Power Hour. Okay, so I'm Laura Rogers, and this is Joelle Jobson here in the window. Hey, Joelle. And Power Hours, a show we do Wednesdays at 11 Central. Our company is IW Mentor, so we have training courses on all these things that we're talking about today. So we also send out a newsletter the day before for you to vote on topics. So this topic barely, they were all very close this week. So this topic barely won. But we also, we have, not only do we let you tell us what the topic is going to be by voting, but we also have a lively chat in Teams. So wherever you're watching this video, there's a link below to click to request to be invited to Teams. And so we do have chat going on there. I don't know, Joelle, if you could keep an eye on YouTube and see if anybody's chatting. Sometimes people just go straight to it in YouTube. But in Teams, if you join in Teams, we also have some extra notes. I've got links that I've shared in there, and we've got just the ability to kind of have a rapport and chat with each other and do fun emojis. So to no avail, we'll go ahead and talk about this subject. Okay, so here I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And this is a Power App. This is a purchase request app. And this is one that we've actually used in several demos so far. It's a nice generic concept. So what I'm going to do today is we have all the purchase requests, of course, on this purchase request form that people fill out. It's a pretty simple form. But we also have the list of purchase requests. So let me go back to preview. Let's go there. And so this is a gallery. So this is a Power Apps gallery control. And what I want to do is, first of all, so I'm going to show you a few things. So first of all, I'm going to show you the difference between a table control, a data table, and a gallery, and what the functionality is. And then we'll talk about how to add these sort of little drop-down boxes at the top of your gallery to be able to filter things by the different column values. And if you want to show all or specific things, and we'll add a few different ones. But there's several different ways to get that data into the drop-down boxes, and that's where it kind of gets a little tricky sometimes. So we'll go into different ways to collect data, especially if it's some dynamic list of information that you need to have, maybe possibly be different every time, or based on some other kind of lookup column. And so we'll talk about different ways to do that and different types of columns and how that functions. So this is our gallery, but before I show you the gallery, I'm going to show you the data table. So this is something we created in a different demo. So the way that this is just it's called a table, and it's just a list. You just pick which columns you want it to have. So it's very, very simple. You just pick which columns you want it to have, and then those columns will just show across the screen. It's pretty ugly and it's not very configurable, but it is very, very simple. And you just put it there and then it just works. And so you just have your list of stuff. It has sorting just built in. Just got a little sort button. It has a filter by that doesn't work. That's just kind of there. And then it also automatically has a little sum at the bottom. So that's nice to have. So you've got a little setting that gives you that sum. And but unfortunately isn't really much you can do with a data table. You can't really control kind of as much as how things look in here. You really just kind of pick the columns and then it shows them here. So very simple. So what I usually like to use in the real world is a gallery. So let me go back to my gallery. So this is a gallery control. And so It is more time consuming. It is definitely more time consuming to build a gallery, right, Joelle? You can lose hours of your life. But it is way more configurable. And so I highly recommend using these if you have the time. So this is why I already spent a little bit of time just right before we got started here, just putting the gallery here. And when you add a gallery to your screen, you can just drop text boxes like labels in here. And what you do is for the title of the label, you do this item dot. So this is one, I'll do the status. So this item dot, and then that's where you're going to be presented with all the different fields in your list. So this one's status. And then dot value. It's got a dot value because it's a choice field. No, so I've gone over basics of galleries and lots of other times in Power Hours. So I'm not going to go. I'm not going to go too far, kind of basic. I'm just going to start from I've already built it, and here are all the columns. So what I've done is these are just labels. Now I did put a link in the list of notes to a different Power Hour I did where I showed how you could create a container and have all these nice and neat and lined up in a container as the column headings and in the gallery. But that's just for your reference if you want to go read how to do that. It's a nice, neat, tidy, easy way to kind of keep things lined up. All right, so what I'm going to do is I've got this gallery and I've got just labels just showing what the headers are. I'm going to just scoot this down and I'm just going to drag all these down. And I'm just going to put we're just going to put some filter little drop down boxes just in this empty space. I'll just show you just basic functionality of how it works and how it actually filters the gallery. And then we'll talk about, again, it gets more complex with different types of data and different ways you want to generate that list. So I've got, I'll just do priority first since that's just easy. It's just got a few things like normal, high, critical. Let's see what other, when I add a new item, I'm just looking at the form here. Here's my priority. Yeah, it's just normal, high, and critical. That's the choice field in SharePoint. Okay, so I'm going to insert a combo box. And this is the modern one right here. That's the classic one. I'm just going to use the modern one. And then it's asking for what do I want my items to be. So this is step one is just going to be the very, very simple. I'm just going to type. This is just the most simple way you can have it list some things. Normal. I'm just filling these in with, let's see, high, and then critical. And then you could do comma, and you can do something else. You could just, you're just listing them all with commas between them and quotes around them. So those are my three priorities. And then in my combo box, I click this little edit button over here and add field, and there is just one field really, it's value. And because it just automatically uses the value of what that priority is. So then when I can just test it out, I can see I've got the three things here. Now this is not actually filtering anything yet because the next step is going to be to, first of all, set up the gallery to actually have a filter function. And the next thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to have an all option so that you can put it back to show everything. So I'm going to for this easy first one, I'm just going to type all in here. I'm just going to put like little asterisks around it and just type all. And then I'm going to say I want the default selected items to be value. Since it's the word value, you saw the word value in there, and I'm going to do all. Just have to make sure it's, case sensitive and everything. Okay, so now it's got a default. So the drop-down box now has a default value of all, and I'd be able to change it and then change it back to show them all. Okay, so the next step, and that's just one column. So the next step is to go to the items property. The items property is always where we're going to put searches, filters, sorting, all those different functions. You can even combine all those different functions together. Also, I need to make sure I have a good name for this combo box. I want it to be CMB status. Just call it CMB status, CMB for combo box. And then, so I want it to look at what's selected in the combo box. So I'll say filter, purchase requests, where the status, no, sorry, priority. Did I change it? Did I call it status? I think I did. Priority dot value from SharePoint equals CMB, I'll just rename it, dot selected dot value. So now that is going to just filter it by what I select. So, but I haven't put the all concept in there yet. So look, all is selected and it's not showing me anything. So if they select all, I want it to not filter by anything. So I want to take that filter off. So first of all, let me just rename that real quick, CMB priority, because I'll do the status too. All right, so there's my combo box for the priority. It's got all, and then the trick here is to do priority.value equals that, or my or is these little double pipes, or that CMB priority dot selected dot value. Why isn't it doing? There we go. It's a little slow. Equals, and then I have to type it exactly all like that. Okay, there we go. So it's the priority. This is right here. This first thing is the name of your column in SharePoint. And then the second thing is the name of the combo box. And then it's or the combo box selected equals all. And you just use that same syntax. I put 2 asterisks on the ends of it. And then I got this error earlier today. I don't think it means anything. All right. So now I've got all, and now I've got normal, and now it's filtering it. High and critical. There we go. So that's how to filter just one column. Yay, golf clap. Okay, so thanks, Joelle. And then, so now, but we're gonna add, but there's more. But wait, there's more. Okay, so then if we want to have, I'll just go to the status. So I'll just leave priority how it is, nice and simple. It's just, they're just all typed in. The items are just typed in here. They're just that little syntax with the square brackets around the ends. And so, because I want to show you several different ways to do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this and then just put it over here and call it CMB status. And I guess let me know, Joelle, let me know if anybody's got any questions in the chat as we're going. Okay, so instead of having them just typed in here, what if my status is, what if it's, you know, those change, or like, because it's coming from a field in SharePoint. So maybe it's got, and I need it to be more dynamic. So think of a list of things that might need to be more dynamic that you need to be able to pick from that could possibly change, that you don't want to just type the values in here, anything like that. So I'll go new purchase request, and I want to look at when I'm filling in the status. Where's my status? Let me see. Do I even have the status on this form? I'll go ahead and add it. There's my status. Okay. So when I add the status column to my form, this is just like a little cheat to go see like how it just gets from SharePoint. Okay, let's go look at SharePoint. My status column right here, column settings. So this is where I've typed in what all the different statuses are in SharePoint. So I want Power Apps to just dynamically use whatever choices are there. I don't want to have to go just type them in the Power App, because if I change these status options in SharePoint, I want it to just reflect dynamically in the Power App. So I'm just going to take this and just copy this. So I'll have the choices, and I'll go back to my gallery screen. And then I'm going to use those choices, watch this, in my all. But unfortunately, So I've even got, it still has the default selected items saying all, but let me see, but all is not, there we go. So we've got new, so I can see what the items are, but all isn't really in the drop-down box. That was just like a default like piece of text in there. So as you start changing it, you can see that all isn't there. So what I need to do is something a little more complex, not just directly putting the list of choices there. I need to do a collection so that I can add that all concept to this list of items. So you can, there are different places you could do this. You could have it create the collection when the app starts. I'm just gonna, in this example, I'm just gonna say when somebody goes to this screen, then I'm gonna have it create that collection. So when someone arrives on this gallery, and so in Power Apps, if you have it do things like create collections, all when in the OnStart, when the app starts, you could do that. You could go here and go to OnStart, and you could have it do the collection here. But instead of putting it in the OnStart, I want to leave the OnStart alone, and I want to keep it kind of nice and simple and efficient. So I'm just going to say, just wait till somebody gets to this screen and then do this collection. So in the onVisible, that means when somebody arrives on this screen, I'm going to say clear collect and paste that same list of choices. And I'm going to say, call it COL statuses. So I'm calling the collection COL statuses, and then it's just getting those choices. But what I need is, so when I click away and arrive on the screen, I still need to add the all part. So that's where it gets a little more complex. So I'll go look at my collection. I can see my collection of statuses, and I can see it says value. Value is the name of the column. That's important when we're doing collections to understand, because when I add this new all item to this list, I need to know that it's value is what it's using here. So I'll go back to my screen, my gallery, and my onVisible. And before I collect that, I'm going to say clear statuses. Why is it not? Just clear the collection of statuses first, and then collect. So collect means I'm just adding something to it. So I'm emptying it out, and then I'm adding to it, and I have to use this little curly bracket syntax. So value is, and I have to do that all. And I'm just, oops, I'm gonna use that same syntax I used for the other one. Value all. So I've collected, oops, I gotta say the name of the collection. There we go. The name of the collection, and then what I'm collecting. So at this point right here, it's just going to have a single row. So I'm emptying it out. I'm collecting this one row, and then I'm going to take the clear off of this. I don't want to clear collect the rest of this stuff. So it's putting the word all in here first, and then it's adding the rest of the statuses. So now I'm going to trigger this. So I'll click away, and I'll click back, and now it actually did this onVisible stuff right when I clicked on it. Now let's go look at my collection. And there we go. Now it's got all new, in progress, approved, rejected. So then now that I have my collection, everything's listed correctly, then I can go here. And instead of just pointing straight to the choices, I can point to my collection of statuses. Here we go. And then it's got all the statuses here, but I haven't put the filter in here yet. So then I have to go add that. I'm just going to put a comma here. I'm just going to copy this thing, and I'm just going to adjust it slightly for this other column. So this one's going to be status dot value equals CMB status dot selected dot value, or CMB status dot selected dot value equals all. So see, so for each column I need to possibly filter, I'm just putting a comma, and I'm using the same syntax of the name of the column, the name of the combo box selected, or the combo box selected is all. Okay, let's try that. So now I've got status is in progress and status is new and it is high. So now this is all the priority, high, status, new. Yay. Okay, so now we've got 2 filters. Let's see, what does everybody think so far? Oh yeah, that's fun stuff, right? Okay, so now let's talk about possible other permutations of this. So we've got the 2 different ways to do the items in the drop-down box, just typing them. We've got doing the collection when you arrive on the screen to go collect that list of stuff. And then let's try doing, let's see, let's add a person column here. So copy, paste. I'll do dot modified by dot display name. So I can see I've got different people. Look, there's Scott in there modifying stuff. Thanks, Scott. Because this is in SharePoint and you guys, the Power Hour people are in Teams and inherently there is a SharePoint site. So that's where this test list is that you all participate in. So I'll just copy and paste that and call it modified by. And it's just got the first name of the last person that modified it. Okay, so now I want to filter by that. Now that's even more complex because if I just went to this list in SharePoint and let me go add the modified by column. Notice that a lot of them are me. So if I just told it to go look at all the people that had modified this, there isn't, so for the choice column, there's just a, for the choice columns, there's just a list right here of what the choices are. But with a people picker, when you're filling out a people picker or you're looking at the created by or modified by, that could be anybody in the company. So there isn't just like a succinct list of unique people. So then what you'd have to do is you'd have to go get a distinct list of the people that are in the modified by. So first of all, then you start having to worry potentially about delegation issues. So if your list has, thousands of items, then Power Apps is not going to be able to just quickly do a distinct on a column and just get you a little succinct list of people. So I'm going to do the collect when people arrive on this screen, but potentially if you have an app that's got a list that's got thousands of items that it's not going to be able to do a distinct, it'll give you like a delegation error, then you might have to put a little button that when they click the drop down to go filter by the person, then it just gets a smaller subset of people, like just whatever is displayed on the screen, just whatever's already showing in the gallery, just those people. So this one's going to be a little tricky, which is why I kind of showed you the easy ways first. So let's go do.
We have a question.
Oh yeah.
From Jennifer, does this same format work to filter a form to only show specific items that a user could update?
To filter a form?
Yeah, like to basically hide and show fields.
To filter a form to show items the person could update, like to filter a drop-down box on a form?
Yeah, it's just asking it doesn't. I guess I think the answer is no, it doesn't. You would have to do that on each of the data cards essentially. So hide and showed based on information.
I just don't understand what they're asking that we're hiding and showing specifically. Is it items in a drop down? The fields themselves?
I think it's
yeah.
It doesn't say that to only show specific items that a user could update. I don't know if it's drop down or if it's the fields itself.
Okay,
so Jennifer,
well, just let me know.
Let us know if it's fields or drop down.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll go add another. I'll just copy and paste that one. And we'll try this. So we're going to do a, and I'm just going to show you just in case you need to have like, you don't want to do it right when they arrive on the screen because you don't want it to have to search through the entire list of possibly thousands of items. So I'm just going to put a button over here. And this is one of those things where you kind of have to get creative with these different types of columns. That's why it's kind of different for different types of columns when you're doing these filters. So I'll just say filter. I'll just type the word filter on here, and there's actually a little filter icon there. And I'm going to do the collection and just show you how that works just with this button. And then let's see, clear collect, COL modified by, and then I'm going to do a distinct of. And then that's where I'm going to say the name of this gallery dot all items. So it's just the items right now that are showing in the gallery dot. No, wait. I forgot how to do that. No, wait. I'm going to do the name of the list. Purchase requests dot. Oh, you know what I did last time I did this? I had added an extra step in here where the whole gallery was just a collection, and I was doing everything I was doing was just collecting the entire gallery every time. So I'll just do a distinct of the purchase requests, and then when you're doing a distinct, it just asks you for which column you want it to be distinct. Modified by dot display name. Okay, so I'll just do this button here. And then, let's see, clear collect. So it's going to let's go look at what that looks like. I just click the button. And it's just got 3 people. So I'm not going to have delegation issues with this pretty short list with only 3 people in it. So then here I would just do COL modified by. And then let's go see what it looks like. Yeah, it's just got the names in it. And then I didn't add the all to that one yet. So I have to do that same thing where I clear it, add the 1 row with the collect, and then collect the rest of it. And then collect. And then that's going to be also value and all. And that's it. And then so I'm going to collect just the all. And then I'm going to collect all the rest of those distinct people. And I can also do it, let's see. Yeah, okay. Do that. So now when I go look at the collection, refresh that. Now it's got 4 rows and go. I see it's got 4 rows. It's just not rendering. It's fine. It took a second to render. Anyway, they're in there. So let's go look. So I'll put my collection here, and then now I can see that it does have the all in there. Another thing I can do is I can sort it when I do the collection, or I can just sort it right here. I can say sort COL modified by the value, which is just that person's name. This is going to be their first name, though. It's just going to be, because I just have their display name here. So it's just going to be their first name that it shows here. So now it's sorting it by their first name, and I didn't put like ascending or descending there. It just defaults to ascending if you don't put anything. And then I have to add that extra little line. Oh, I didn't rename my combo box. Let me go do that first. So that's going to be my CMB modified by. have to go add that filter. CMB modified by dot. And this is their display name. So this is important too, because you have to match this up. So it's the display name of the person, their first name, last name, because the display name is what I collected in the distinct. I got the distinct display names. So it's a list of people's first name, last name. So I can't just pick like email here and then compare it to the display name, because when you do a distinct, it's just going to get one single column. So then I'm going to do CMB modified by dot selected dot value, and CMB modified by dot selected dot value is all. And then now I have Brenda Cox, high priority, all, Scott, his just, there's one in there, and me. Okay, so that all three of those work now. And so let me go ahead and, so what was that question? Yeah, you're right. It's no longer low code, but it's good to know like the different levels of how to accomplish this and how simple it can be, but also how it depends on your column type, how complex it could possibly get with your, it needing to be dynamic. So yeah. Now, what we're doing now is we're going to add, so what if you want this filter to also just always show things pertaining to me? Like you only want them, you don't want people to go to this screen and see everybody's purchase request. You just only want them ever to see their own. So I'm going to say, I'm going to add another filter. So I'm going to say created by dot email equals, and I don't have a variable yet. Let me see, did I do a variable for the current user, currently logged in user? No. So this is a common thing that I do whenever I'm using anything it needs to look at who the logged in user is. And so I just usually add that as a, I'm going to add that as you can add it as a global variable in the onStart, and you can also add it as a formula. Oh, I did add it as a formula. So I have current user. So current user is the name of the formula, and it just grabs whoever the logged in user is. So I'm going to use that current user dot email. So comparing email to email, which is to me the most unique thing that you can do. So now it's only showing me things ever on this screen that I created. So it looks like, I'm going to put that back on all. So these are all things that I created. Other people modified them though. So that's just the modified by column. So now also, let's see, are there any other people pickers in this list? Let me look real quick. Manager. So let's do manager. So I'm going to fill in, make sure I fill in the manager. Let me see. Manager's another one. So I could say only let somebody see the items where either they're the one that created it or they're the manager of somebody that created it, or they're the in the manager column. So I'll go edit. I just want to have a couple of these with myself as the manager. Okay, and go. Come on, SharePoint. Okay, there we go. And then, okay, when I change something in SharePoint, yeah, I refresh it.
Oh,
go ahead.
They were just asking for the links again. I don't know. I couldn't figure out where you put
the links, all the references in the notes.
No, the SharePoint list, I guess.
Yeah, it's just that purchase request list on the site. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. You can give them that link if you want. All right. So the next,
if I can find it.
Yeah, it's just on the SharePoint site. Created by or, and then here's that manager field, manager dot email equals current user dot email. All right. Yeah. So now it's going to filter. It's always going to filter to just show me things where I'm the person who created it, or I'm the manager in the manager field in one of these forms. And it's also going to take into consideration all these different other filters. So this is going to, it's not ever going to show me any items that don't involve me. So now these are all just items I created, and I can look to see these are just the modified by people. All right, so the next thing that we're going to move on to, so that was 3 different kind of more and more complex ways of getting that list of items to show there. You can just directly point this to, you know, a Dataverse database, or you could just collect, like, you know, if you have a Dataverse database or a SharePoint list that has all of your like sales offices or your customers or something like that, you could collect that into a collection, but you do the little collect to add the little all concept first, and then collect the rest of it so that you'll have the ability to, you know, put it back to all to reset it. And then another thing that we're going to do is, did you find it? It's just this list right here. I'll just copy and paste
it. No, I didn't, because I'm a guest, so I can't go to like open in SharePoint in the Teams thing.
Oh, so okay. I just pasted it in the chat. Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm sorry, I didn't realize that there wasn't a way to get to it from Teams. That's funny.
Yeah, like I think if you're, for whatever reason, as a guest, it just doesn't give me open in SharePoint as an option.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know.
Oh, ooh, Lisa's asking about a date range. Let's try that, Lisa. Okay, so let's add a date column here. Shrink that down a little bit. Now, I did not have a date range in my repertoire for today, but you know, I like a challenge. Created. And so I'm going to add, I'm just basically just creating labels and dragging them around. This item dot created. So now I can have, now that's got all the date and time and everything. So watch this. I'm going to do show date only of when item was created. This is a whole other Power Hour that we did about comment generated formulas in Power Apps. So now I just click accept. Look at that. That is so cool. See, I didn't even have to know the function. It just created it for me. So a lot of these functions that I'm showing you, and just all these complex functions and combinations of functions, try just typing your description of what you want it to do, and just let Copilot figure it out for you. You don't have to have a Copilot license to do this. It's just built in. It's just a little feature called Copilot comment generated formulas. You just turn that on. So, all right. So now I've got a date showing, and I want to do a filter. Let me move this over here. I want to do another filter column. And okay, rename that CMB created. And then I want to show, what do I want to show in the date column? Like actual days or years? Maybe I want to show a list of years here. I actually did a whole other Power Hour about how to filter by year like that. So what did you have in mind that you'd want to see there? Like actual days? Date range. Oh, 2 different dates. I see what you're saying. So yeah. So you'd have 2 different dates in 2 different drop-down, 2 different date pickers. Okay. And then filter when it was created by the 2 different date pickers. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay. So we're not going to use that. We're going to use a date picker. I'm like cramming all this stuff up over here on the right. I feel like I need to scoot everything over. Let me just scoot that over a little. This is why I'm not using containers in this demo, because I would be losing my mind right now trying to get everything to line up. Okay, so I got start, and then that's going to be the start of the filter, and then that's going to be the end of the range of the filter. And so I'm going to let them pick 2 days and then filter created, but that's between these 2 days. DTE start filter. Okay, and let's see, I'm going to go back to my filter here and just put a comma here, and I'll say the date created is greater than DTE start filter dot selected date, and created is less than DTE end filter. I don't know if this is going to work. Dot selected date. Okay, now I didn't do an all. So what we're doing here, let's try to give it a couple of days. Let me back up because I know we created a lot of these a long time ago. Oh yeah, so now it's showing everything between July 29th and Friday, January 30th. So it's it narrowed it down. Okay, so I think I had a couple, we got 20 minutes left. I had another concept I wanted to show you of having like a filter panel. So what if you have a whole bunch of filters, you've got a whole bunch of columns you want them to filter, and you want it to have its own interface. You want them to be able to just click a filter button and have just this whole section of filters like pop and appear. Like you could have it appear like over on the right, you could have it appear like across the top. But that's going to be the next concept that we'll talk about, and then I'll try and see what other complexity I can add in. All right, so I've got I'm going to take this stuff that I had done in this button. I'm just going to move it to the on visible. Just put that in the on visible also with all this other stuff. And then delete that button because that's kind of odd there. Okay, so then the next concept you could use a container for. There are different ways that you could structure the actual thing that's going to appear. I'm going to try and just do it the fastest way, just for this demo. So I'm just going to create like a rectangle and just put all these little shapes in the rectangle. Okay, so I'm going to say rectangle, and then I'll kind of like kind of line them. I'll put them all in there. Move it over here. I'm just going to put it down here to start. And I'll say width. I want the width to just be the parent width, the width of the whole screen. And I want the X to be 0 there. So now it just goes the whole screen. And then I've got, I want to take all these and put them like on top of it. I could have just dragged them, huh? Just drag them on top of it, really. And then the key is just going to be to add little labels of what they all are. So then you'd have to just say like, okay, this is priority. You could put a little priority box above it, and you can put like little boxes above each one to say what it is. We can do department too. We can add that. That's another type, just like a list of choices. And then let's see, I'll do priority. That one's priority. That one's, now I've got status. These are priorities, statuses, people, and then dates. Okay. So I'll just do status. And guys, you can see it could take a while to like get all these lined up and all that. And then just say like created. Yeah. So ugly, huh? All right. Created. There. Okay, so those are kind of out of whack. I'll line them up later. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all of these, and what you can do is group them together. So just right click and group it, and that way they all just kind of stay together. And then I want this whole group to appear and disappear when I click a button. So I'm going to say, put a button up here and just say filter, and put a filter, cute little filter icon. And then when somebody clicks this, I'm just going to use a variable. I'll do a context variable. I'm just on this screen, CTX show filter. And then it's just going to be true or false. It's just going to be a Boolean variable. Do my syntax here. Did I already use CTX show filter somewhere? Oh, I didn't do the syntax. There we go. It just needs a comma. When you do a global variable, you use a comma, and when you use a context variable, you use a colon for some reason. So then when I click this button, I want all this to appear. So I go to my group, and I'll just say the visible property of this is going to equal the name. It's just true or false. So since it's a Boolean variable, true or false, then when I click it, it's going to either be true or false. So then since visible is a Boolean, true or false, then all you have to do is put the name of the variable. I don't need to say if the variable equals true, then show it, etc. So then when I click this button, it appears. So then I need to make it so that when you click something, it disappears. So I'll just add like a little X, insert a little button in it, and make it be an X. Cancel, I think it's cancel. No. Dismiss. Okay, dismiss. And I can just do icon only, and so that it's just a little X. And that's all it is. And I can put that in that grouping, and I can add that to the grouping group. So I just like kind of lumped it into the grouping. And then when I click the button, it's going to update context, get my show filter, and put false. And then also this needs to have that on visible property. Since I added it later, it didn't get the visible property that all the other stuff had. So let's try it. So then it disappeared. Okay, so now let's move it to where it needs to be. Just take this whole group and move it. Let's see. Ooh, I can make this whole thing maybe shift down when you click the button. So again, this is where you start like spending a lot of time just like finagling it and getting it to look correct. But I'll just like move it there, just move to the very top. And then filter, and now it shows, and then it disappears. So let me just move it down a little bit more, because then I can just make it. Ooh, the button needs to be underneath it though. It needs to be like behind it. Gotta keep sending it backwards. There, now it's behind it. Okay. Close it, and then filter, and close it. And then now I didn't do an all on the date range, because so it's just waiting for me to actually have a date range. Now, if you have an, let me go back to July, go back even further. There. Now, if you do have a list that's got hundreds, thousands of items, and you possibly are going to have delegation issues, then it is going to help if you do have like a date filter that they have to fill in before it shows anything, because then you're going to have less issues with worrying about whether you get past that delegation limit. So by default, you have, I'll just explain real quick, just as a very, very brief definition of delegation, which is kind of complicated. You have this data row limit of 500 by default. So even if you have all of your filters set to all, and it's just showing everything in your entire purchase request list or database, it's only going to show up to 500 items no matter what. So when people start adding item 501, 502, etc., it's just, you're simply not going to see them in that gallery. So you could go up to 2,000. When you go up to 2,000, that's the limit, like that's the max. So you go up to 2,000, performance of your whole app starts slowing down a bit when you start increasing this number. So I usually try to leave it at 500 and then try to make sure that you have a lot of filters in place so that nobody's ever trying to show the entire list. You like literally could just not allow them to have everything set to all, like they have to filter it by something. So that's another option that you have if you have, again, many, many items. That's important. Another thing that we can add is a search box, and I'll just add that real quick. I'm going to add it. I'll just put it on top of this other stuff. And that's going to be it's really just a text input, and you're just kind of using it as a search. So I'll just put it like over here. Placeholder text search here. And then that's going to be your search box. So I'll just call it txt search. And then when you use a search, and again, I have to put this I have to do its visible property to be that context variable so that it'll show and hide with all the other stuff. But when I do a search, it's just another function that I'm adding. So I'll add a search here. So I'm searching whatever, all this stuff I'm showing in the gallery, this whole thing is my data source. And what am I searching for? I'm searching for whatever I type in that text box, in that little search box I just added. And then which columns am I searching? So you have to specify. It's not going to just search the entire list. You have to say, like, is it title? I'll just do title. Just keep it simple. And budget code, maybe. Title and budget code. For some reason, title has got a delegation issue, but other text boxes don't. So maybe don't search title. All right. Now I can just type test here. And of course, all those are already have the word test in them. There. And then when you, one more thing about a search box is that you have this type over here, and you can put search, and then you can say, what's the trigger output? So you can make it just so that like, as they're typing, it would do the search, or that they actually have to focus out, like click somewhere else. So if I do a delay, then it's just going to, let me see, I've got a whole bunch of stuff I'm showing here. I've got the word purchasing that I'm searching for. I've got, let me see. I'm going to go back even further. There, I wanted to show more items here. So then I'll just type like happy. And see, I didn't have to click anything or click a button or anything. I just waited a second, and then it showed everything that had happy, like it says Happy New Year in the title. And then this one, like I've got this budget code of 12345. And so, but it's only searching through those two columns when it's doing the search, because that's what I told it to do. So now what I've done is I've combined filtering and searching and hiding and showing this filter like entire box where you can have a whole bunch of stuff and make it more complex and make it waste a bunch of real estate, but then people can show and hide it. So now that I added all those things, let's talk about what are people asking, Joelle? They would have cleared out. So somebody's asking about clearing it out. So to clear things, what you can do on this little X is, that might be the best place to do that. You can do a reset. So reset, and then you'd have to tell it every, like every one of these. You get the picture. Reset. And you just tell it every single priority, modified by status, etc. So then when you close this, it, so like I'll just put this on new, and then I close it and it resets it. And I click filter again, you can see that they're all back to their defaults of all. Lisa says, does search act as starts with or contains? It does contains. Yep. Test. So that's everything that contains the word test. And I feel like there's a lot going on in the chat. Is there any other important questions that? Let's see. That was fun doing a date range. Yeah. Now, if I wanted this date range to, like, I wanted things to already be on this screen, I could do a selected date and have something in there like today minus 30. And then that way it would just, or today minus 100. And that way it would just automatically have, I think all those things that I created were a long time ago. There we go. So it's today minus 300. So that's almost a full year worth of items. But by default, it'll at least show some items because I could have a defaulted date in here. And then you could have, like, to this other one, the end date, selected date could by default be today. Oops. And then that would just already be there. So then it would be, you know, just optional for them to go fill in dates there. And then you could have it when it resets, you can reset the 2 date fields also and have it, and then they would reset back to those 2 default dates that are in them. Cool. All right. I feel like was there something else? Was there another question that somebody had about different roles, seeing different things? Did we figure that out?
Yeah, that was just about the form thing. I think they figured.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cards on forms. I think we have a whole other power hour maybe where we talk about logic on cards. So yeah. Courtney's, I like that meme. That's cute. I think we learned a lot here. Yes, just on full blast, just fast forward, like as quick as possible. I had a whole bunch I wanted to show you. Now, yeah, so I didn't do anything that like directly looked at a database or another list in SharePoint to show its items. So that could potentially be, but we got 3 minutes left. So it's just really a matter of when you do the collection, when you collect that list of things, whatever it is, just be sure to go look at the collection and go see what the name of the column is that whatever one you want to show in the dropdown. And then that's the one that when you do the collect to go add the little all item, be sure that's the column you're collecting it into. So real quick, let me recap that because that's kind of the most complicated part. So when I am in a drop-down box and it's going to look like this by default, it's not going to have anything in that combo box. And then if you have like a whole SharePoint list, you're going to have a whole bunch of columns here to pick from. So whichever one you pick, that's the one that's going to show in the drop-down box when people click it. But that's also the one when I do the collect, when people are arriving on this screen and I do this, it's not always going to be value right here. So where I typed value, that's going to be the name of your column that you're showing, that of the items you're showing, the one I just pointed to when I set up the drop-down box. So just that has to be the same column name. So like title or whatever it is. Cool. All right. Well, oh, Lisa, one more question. When the filter's not visible, do all records show in the gallery? Well, what I did was, since I put a default date in this one, So now the gallery is still looking at those filters. So even if I clear them, even if I reset those two date pickers, it would still put like the today minus 300 and the today, it would put those back in there. So then, yes, even if the filter is not showing, in this case, it would still show that narrowed down list of items, which is, to me, that's good. Then you would want the narrowed down list of items. So yeah, because the gallery is always looking at, it's got the filter function. It's always looking at the boxes, whether it can see them or not. So yeah, resetting all the controls is definitely a what you would want to do, because then you wouldn't want everything to be filtered and not know why it was filtered, because you wouldn't be able to see it. Okay, well, that was fun. Let's see, we've got our schedule here. We have the next Power Hour is going to be February 4th. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. You can always go to IW Mentor and check out our schedule and check out all of our courses in all these different products that we talk about. We have office hours, and we have a membership. The Ultimate Membership is one of our plans. And so we have a meeting, we have a private forum, and we have a meeting where we answer all your technical questions there. And then also want to point out, hopefully I'll see you all in Orlando. Come see my sessions, my all-day Power Apps workshop, and another session I have about Battle of the Forms. And then after that, I'm going to Emerge Americas in Miami. And so those are both in person. So, all right, let me flip it back over. Thanks again, Joelle. And thanks everybody for coming. And we will see you next week. Thanks. Bye.